Welcome to Whitney's World. I'm your host, Whitney Ward. Here we explore spirituality, mindset, and manifestation. 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go. Well, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Whitney's World podcast. I'm your host, Whitney Morgan Ward. I am so thankful that you've tuned in wherever you're at on this planet. Thank you for being here. Guys, I have a very special episode for you today. I have my best friend of 17 years and counting. My best friend since high school. We cheered together. We braided each other's hair.
Oh, yeah.
We grew up together. She knows everything, every guy I've dated, pretty much every part of my journey. She has been alongside of me, and I'm actually surprised she never left. But everyone, welcome Kristen Dreher Haines to the show. Hello.
Hey, y'all. How's it going?
Everyone's great. Let us know in the comments how excited you are to hear from the queen herself. She is a hairstylist, also an entrepreneur. She specializes in extensions, colors, obviously cutting, and all of that. So if you guys are on the West Coast and you want extensions like me, she did these yesterday. I have to say, 10 out of 10, bro. So if you guys want extensions, she's got you. She's around the Sarasota area. So anyway, yes, I'm excited.
Me too.
We went to high school in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Now we both live in Florida, and that just like happened randomly. You've been here for a while.
Yeah, I've been in Florida for like 10 years now.
That's insane.
I know.
You're a Florida girl.
I think so.
Would you move anywhere else?
No, not right now. I really enjoy the sunshine all the time. Really.
Yeah. It's like starting to get warmer now, which I'm really happy about because it's been pretty cold since October. And now we start melting.
Yeah, literally. If you didn't know that you could sweat, you sweat in Florida.
Yes, you melt here, but it's amazing. We're constantly detoxing, so we love it.
Great way to put that.
Yes, literally. And you have a son.
Yes, an 8-year-old.
He's amazing. We recorded a little 2-minute video earlier, which I'll be posting that maybe we'll see. And what else do we need to tell the people about you?
I don't know.
What's your favorite color?
Oh, green.
What's your favorite food?
Steak, easily.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh, funny story. Kristen used to eat her steak like cooked.
Crispy.
Like it was brown all the way through.
Jerky.
And I'm like depending on the steak, I'm like a rare, but recently I've been going more to medium rare. But ever since 6 months ago?
Probably, yeah.
She opened her mind and now she eats steak like normal people, which is like medium rare. Welcome to the steak squad, bro.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, well, let's get into it. So, guys, I am really excited because I've been doing a lot of solo episodes, and I've come to the understanding that I'm like way funnier and way more fun.
Okay.
Than I feel like I've been on my show just because I'm in like such teaching mode. And so I love having, the few guests I've had on, but I really wanted to have someone like interview me. And like drum roll, today is 3 years since I have moved to Florida and restarted my life. Like today is the 3-year mark. So it's just fitting that it's Monday. It's my 3 years. We're going to be at 98 episodes and I'm with my bestie. So I was like, why don't we record an episode where you interview me and ask me questions of like my transformation and certain things. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk all about everything I've learned, things that I've went through, why I moved, all the things. And I'm really excited to bring this to you. I hope it inspires you, lights your soul on fire, and wakes you up because that's what we're here to do. So, Amen. Kristen, you are going to take over.
Amen. All right, Whit. So let's start here. Take us back to 3 years ago. What led you to say, I'm moving to Florida, I need a fresh start? Sorry.
Okay, so 3 years ago, well, obviously, if you've been following me, you know that my life blew up. I went through a horrible breakup. When I decided to move, it was when I walked into my house and everything was destroyed. Like everything that I had worked so hard for, everything that I had built, every like thing that I had made money to like buy, it was all gone. It was obliterated. It was like a literal bomb went off in my house. And that was the moment that I really knew like I was done. I knew that that was when I was going to figure out a way to get to Florida and restart my life. So it was probably about like 4 a.m. December 18th, I think, of 2022. No, oh my God. 2021.
Yeah. And then how did that make you feel at the time?
I was in such disbelief that someone that said they loved me would break into my house and destroy everything. I was so hurt because I am an empathetic person.
Yeah.
I'm a lover. When I'm with someone or, even friends with someone,
Right.
I really love like on a deep level. And I've obviously went through like an immense amount of healing and I've forgiven my ex and like I'm so thankful for him because honestly, like without him blowing up my life, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
And so it's also like a reminder that when things happen in life that you feel like it's blowing your life up, it's actually just aligning you to get onto the path that you're really meant to be on. And something I want to note that I've learned through my journey about this experience is there is a thing called Saturn's return. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So like in astrology, and I do believe in like astrology, even the Bible where they were led by the stars. So I believe in astrology. There is a planetary alignment that's called Saturn's return. That means that Saturn has made an entire rotation around Earth, and it happens every like 28 years. So if you are 28, 27, because my blow up moment happened when I was 27, about to be 28, your life, if you are not going down the right path, your life will start sending you signals to like wake you up and to get you on the right path. But when you don't listen to the signals, your soul will choose to send like a life altering signal to wake you up, to get you on the right path of where you need to go. So that is what happened to me. And I realized that like probably like a year-ish after everything had happened. And to be honest, it gave me so much peace because I was really like angry at myself and I was really like mad at myself for allowing someone to destroy my life. But I learned through healing that it happened because I wasn't going down the right path.
Right.
And it was okay.
Right.
Like it was meant to happen. It's not like these things happen to punish us. They only happen to help us and to get us on the path that we actually need to be on. So I don't remember what the actual question was.
How did it make you feel at the time?
So at the time it made me feel like angry. Like I wanted to kill someone. I was filled with so much rage and anger and hurt and sadness. It was like that one moment when I walked into my house and everything was destroyed.
Right.
It was like every emotion that you could feel. I felt everything like that.
Yeah.
And it was like, I couldn't believe that I had allowed it to get to that point. But I also knew I was next. So I knew that like if I ever went back,
right,
that my physical body was next. So yeah, it didn't feel good.
Right.
But
so then inside of that, did people support you or think it was crazy for you to move from Colorado?
So it's funny because I've been selling real estate for so long and I was like going into year 6 when this happened. So I had built like an entire referral network. Like all my business was like past clients and I was just like in a really good position. And there were like a lot of people that were like, what are you doing? Like, you're crazy. How are you going to rebuild? And I just knew like, I literally had no choice. And also I was born in Florida, so I'd been manifesting like moving back to Florida. I'd always tell my ex-boyfriends, by the way, I'm moving to Florida. So
She did.
just so you know,
True story.
like, this is where I'm going.
Yeah.
And so I was always manifesting it. So it was like, that was my moment. That was the moment in time that pushed me to like go. And yeah, people thought I was crazy. And I think people still think that I'm crazy. And honestly, I am. But to be honest, you don't get anywhere in this life without being crazy. So if you're not willing to make life-altering decisions, put yourself out there, shift everything when you know that what you're doing isn't working, then you're never going to get to where you want to go anywhere. You're just going to stay stuck in a loop, in a cycle that you don't want to be in. So yeah, people definitely thought I was crazy.
I believe that. So let's talk about what changed inside of you over the last 3 years. How have you evolved spiritually, emotionally, and mentally?
In every way possible. I literally am not the same person. I am actually me. I feel like I have like removed the mask.
Like
and
the
like
facade that you had before.
Yeah. Like the demasking. And for me, in real estate, like something that you're taught is to like be palatable to everyone. You need to basically be a people pleaser. You have to hide certain parts of your lives. You can't say certain things. You have to look like a certain way. And like, we are waking up to like, that's not really true anymore. People do crave authenticity. But when it comes to like the real estate community, when I was like really deep into it until I like woke up, I realized that I wasn't ever me. And I was living this like watered down fake version of myself. And now I feel like I'm actually me. I feel my emotions. I feel my body. Like we were just talking today, how now it's like, I can tell before I even go places how it's going to make me feel.
I knew you were just going to say that.
And I used to never feel like that. I used to just always put myself in situations not knowing how I was going to feel, or I would just get drunk, smoke a lot of weed, numb out, and then I'd never even understood that I felt uncomfortable in situations. So now that I quit drinking and I definitely do not numb out like I used to at any capacity, I can just feel so much more. It's like I can literally see things happening real time. I can feel things happening. I know what people are going to say sometimes.
Right.
I know, like, I don't know. It's like I'm drawn to people now. Like I understand frequency and vibration and how when people say like you find your tribe, that's a real thing. Like you actually, when you start to ascend and evolve and learn about yourself, people like fall away that are no longer vibrationally matched for you because you're not on the same energetic wavelength. And now I can see when people and feel when people are actually supposed to be like, we're actually supposed to have a connection.
Right.
Mentally, I do not think the same, like at all. The way I even feel about myself, like I used to always feel so negative and like angry towards myself, bad about myself. I had like body dysmorphia, thinking that I was like looked differently than how I actually looked.
Right.
And I would like constantly, like, I love this subject because I feel like this has like changed everything for me. But I would literally eat food, and the entire time I was eating it, I would be thinking about how bad the food is, how it's going to make me fat, and how I shouldn't be eating it. And I think that through my journey, now I enjoy the food. I'm still like, I'm conscious. I'm way more conscious about food, eating, actually tasting it, being with like in the moment, being grateful for the food and not like cursing the food as I eat it. So I think that's like a big one for me.
Would you say that's helped you heal?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Because that negative self-talk
Right.
is so negative. And I am now like, just, I'm not like I don't want to live like positively what is the saying? When you're like positive toxicity, I think is what people say. Like when you're pretending to be positive and you're like toxic about it.
Okay.
I'm not like that, but I'm a positive person.
Right.
I've always been that. I'm just like, just like
happy-go-lucky a little bit. But would you say that you are now more like intuitive to yourself?
Yes.
And
100%.
other people?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. Like for other people, I can like read people now. If you tell me like a couple things you're struggling with, or maybe some patterns that keep coming up, I feel like I could see like what people are going through and give them like real time tools to help them like with their
current situation.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then with me, I have definitely been tapping more into my intuition, asking my higher self, like, in this moment, should I do this? Yes or no?
Right.
And like actually feeling a signal in my body.
Right.
And yes, like my intuition, especially now that I'm not like numbing out like I used to, I'm just so much more in tune with my body. And I feel like I'm in alignment with myself, my higher self, and like the universe.
So what got you to that point to have that breakthrough?
I think everything. It was like my 3-year journey of just learning about mindset, quantum physics, spirituality, meditation, learning about the present moment, learning that when you're constantly fearing the future or living in your past, you're recreating the past, or you are spiraling with anxiety in the present moment, but really understanding that the present moment is where all freedom comes from. And that when you tune into what should I be doing right now and what feels good now, when you can create a life where what you are doing in the present moment doesn't have to do with the future or the past, and it just has to do with creating happiness now, that is where I feel like everything started to change for me, and my intuition was heightened.
Okay.
Because I had to learn how to trust myself in the moment.
Right. And then inside that moment, Whitney's world like started. So let's talk about that. What made you decide to transform into Whitney?
So when I moved here, my ex had gotten like a 2-year probation. So they basically said like, oh, if he gets in trouble one more time, like he's going to go, he's going to get in trouble, like go to jail or whatever. And what happened though was that's literally the false. And he kept getting arrested for different things. And January of 2023, I had gotten a call that he was back in jail. And then I had logged in to the WebEx, like to see what had happened, because they don't ever give you details. They just say like, whatever his name is back in jail, and his court hearing will be, the next day at 2 p.m. So I would log in. Well, this time I had logged in and found out that he had done the same thing to this little girl's room. He was dating this girl and she had a daughter, and he had destroyed the little girl's room. Well, on top of that, I had even seen pictures because she had posted this on social media and like a cry for help. And I think I had like reached out to her sister and been like, if there's anything that I can do, like there's a group of women in the Springs that can help her. And I never heard back from her sister. I think it was who it was. But in that moment where I realized that my ex wasn't learning, that he hadn't learned from me, and he was continuing to destroy women's lives. I literally heard my higher self say, you need to start talking and start a podcast. That was all I heard. But I heard it like so clear and so like in my soul that I literally couldn't not answer the call.
Right.
Like I knew that was my intuition.
Yep.
Not even really knowing at that time.
Right.
But I knew in that moment that was my next step. And by the way, at this time in my life, I was fucking miserable. I hated myself. I had moved to Florida thinking that me running away from my old life was going to like magically heal everything
Like
and
solve your problems.
And it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because when you don't deal with trauma and pain and hurt, it just continues.
Yep.
And that is why it is so important that we heal and feel things, because then we can break the chains and stop looking at the past and creating it in our future. But in that moment, it was like something inside of me was birthed. And that was when I knew I was going to start a podcast. And I knew it wasn't going to all be about like this, but like, yeah, it was in that moment where it wasn't even about me. It was about the women and the children.
Okay.
And it was like, I had to start talking. I had to start saying something because I was the only one of all the girls that had gotten like cases. There were 2 other women that had like had cases and they had dropped everything.
Yep.
I was the only one that didn't drop it because I knew like there was like, you have to pay for what you did to my house, bro.
Right.
And like blowing my life up. Like I'm not just going to like drop this. And now you're still not learning and you're now destroying little girls' rooms. That for me was like, this is unacceptable. Someone has to start talking about this and my camera's about to die. And that was where my podcast was birthed.
Okay. So how has having your podcast helped you find your voice?
In every way possible. I literally wouldn't be who I am and where I'm at without my podcast. My podcast saved my life because when I was going through my journey and I was like depressed, even though I was podcasting, it was the one thing that I had to show up for and I had to learn because I never wanted my podcast to be like talking shit or gossip or any of that. I wanted it to be healing. I wanted people to get something from it. And so that was like my soul, you know, I didn't even know that was what was happening, but my soul knew, my intuition knew, and I was the one that chose to answer the call that I heard. And so my podcast literally saved my life because I was in so much darkness that my podcast and speaking and learning and giving of myself was the thing that literally saved my soul.
Right. So would you say that was like a super powerful moment for you?
Yes. Every part of my journey of my podcast has been so powerful to me and life altering and life changing. And now it's like I'm on a whole new trajectory of life.
Right.
Because I started a podcast.
Right.
And like most people start like posting on social media and like doing short form stuff, but I started long form and like started just like teaching things.
Yeah.
So I want to say that if you guys are non-drinkers, this is one of my favorite brands. It's called Recess. These are this is the mojito one and it's a watermelon mojito. I love these.
Hard track. Yeah.
Super Flames. Need the light.
Ooh. It's not sweet at all.
No.
I like it.
7 carbs, 6 sugars, 30 calories, 55 grams of potassium. Whoa. What? Is that a word, bro?
Potassium.
I meant potassium. I'm not sure what's wrong with me. So anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know, if you want, you can get these at Sprouts or probably online, but I get them at Sprouts. And they're 10 out of 10. Whitney's World approved. Let's get back into it.
All right, Whit. So would you say you have a favorite moment or a powerful episode that you can really speak on?
So my favorite moments of this entire journey is actually seeing me transform and grow and learn. I like my first episode that I recorded, which was 98 episodes ago.
Ooh.
I know, it's insane. I'm almost at 100. I was so nervous. I didn't really know how to communicate. I also was like, a big reason why I needed to stop smoking weed was because I couldn't really like think like on my toes. And that's another thing that I feel like it's like trained my brain to think faster and to get information flowing in a quicker way, but also bring it palatably to make sure it makes sense, to really learn how to cultivate moments where I can express myself and make sure that it's like kind of a story and it all flows and goes together. So I feel like one of my favorite moments is really watching myself transform in my communication skills and just being like quicker on my toes and just understanding the point of life is connection, finding your true self, really living out the life that your soul came here to live. And it's funny because we went and journaled this morning over at her pool, and I was journaling this morning and I was like, I realized that the whole reason I'm even here is because my soul told me to start a podcast. And that everything else I'm doing, all my content creation and releasing my Glow Code course, which if you guys have not gotten that yet, you definitely should get into it. The link is below, but it's all about how I transformed emotionally, physically, spiritually, and I was able to glow up, because glowing up is transforming who you are from the inside out, not from the outside in, because that doesn't work. We're sold that lie, but we know that when you get the car, you feel better for 2 weeks and you're void. You get the boyfriend and you still don't really feel like you felt like you were supposed to feel. So we are taught when you get the house, then you'll feel better. When you have the kids and you feel better. But now what we're learning is that's the opposite. You must cultivate happiness, freedom, and being whole internally first, with aligning with yourself and God, your higher self, and then living that out every day. So I think my favorite moment has just been actually experiencing my transformation real time.
Your journey.
Like week after week after week, and just feeling like, bro, this is me. Like this is actually why I'm here. So my most powerful episode for me personally was, I believe it was episode, I think it was like 53 or 58, something in the 50s, when I actually ended up telling my story, and it's called From Trauma to Freedom. That for me was the offering of like, it was like the purging of my being out. And I was always so scared to tell the story because I didn't know like how he would feel or how everyone would feel. And also I didn't want to like, you know, project like all this negativity or my negativity into the world. But I realized like that's literally the point. The point of life is to overcome things and share it so other people know that they can overcome shit and beat it and become greater and better and grow from it, because everything that we go through is just so we can grow through. Life isn't like, all we're doing here on earth is like learning. We're evolving our souls. So we're really meant to learn lessons and move on. So I think for me, that wasn't like my favorite episode.
Sure.
But that was the episode that was like, the entire podcast is for this one. Like this whole thing is like for this episode. And it took me so long to release it.
Well, I remember as your friend, you were like, I'm just not ready, but I want to talk about this, but I'm just really not ready. And I'm like, you'll know when the time comes.
Yeah.
And it finally came, and it was a breakthrough. And I think that's amazing.
And I remember like watching it, because when I recorded it, I didn't cry. But when I was editing it and editing the video, I actually had a full blown breakdown.
Mhm.
And like, it was like that episode was again, it was like the purging. It was
Right.
like the, finally,
Yeah.
like I let it out.
Yeah, you could release it.
Yep. And also, again, like, I'm not mad at my ex. Like, he came into my life to get me on the right path.
Mhm.
And he was the one that I actually heard recently from this podcaster, Allie, that I love. She talks all about like healing and stuff, but she said, the person in life that hurt you the most is actually the person in life that loved you the most, because you have a soul contract to basically allow you to get to where you need to go from that pain that you experienced from that person. So the pain that you felt is your purpose, is your path to heal and to end the cycle of whatever's going on. And that really resonated with me, because I also do know, like, my ex did love me. Like, yeah, he like didn't have healthy love. You know, he had his own things he had to deal with. But I know, like, he did love me at the capacity he could love.
Right.
You know? And so I think for me, like, when I heard that, I was like, that actually makes so much sense, because I also like have this other, like, when I heard that, I'm like, yeah, like, he literally destroyed my house at the risk of his own life. Most people who are like not willing to, like, I would never do that. Right. No one is worth my life.
Right.
To that. But for him, like, I was. And like, this is like super deep, like, layers of like theory and like healing. But he also had his own soul lessons that he had to learn through that experience. But it was like, it's like the meeting of the minds when the worlds collide. It was like that moment. And I was like, wow, like, he really blew his own life up so that I would go get on my soul path. And now I'm here because of him.
Right.
And so it's like, damn, like, when you actually start to evaluate your life and the things that are going on, and you start to forgive people and forgive yourself.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
You realize, like, oh my God, maybe we all are working together to help each other, but we're just all asleep and don't understand what the hell's going on. But that's why healing is so important, because I now know, like, my ex, again, without him, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
And
no,
so
you wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
No.
And so it's like,
but then you also had to wake up too.
100%.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we both had our own soul lessons.
Yes.
And I do think that he's doing better. I do believe. And it's like, I can feel that he is. Sometimes I'm like, I think he's actually better. And I could, like, I'm really happy, because I feel like I've done a lot of healing. And I have like an understanding now of like why all these things happened. But again, the person, and this is not to like go back to that person and be like, oh my God, you helped like save my life, like blah, 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 blah. No. You just like understand you had like a soul connection with that person. And, you know, a lot of those people might not ever heal, but as long as you know that that person came into your life to get you on the right track, you're blessed, because most people just hate and resent that person for the destruction they caused without realizing, like, you were the one going down the wrong path and your soul is trying to wake you up. So just take that person as your lesson and know, like, oh,
thank you. Yeah. Thank you for that lesson.
They were able to help me get to where I'm actually meant to be.
Yeah. So Whitney, what message do you hope that your listeners walk away from this right now?
You have to believe in yourself. You have to know that your soul came here for a specific reason, to evolve, expand, grow, and learn, and have fun and play, be uncomfortable, because when you are uncomfortable is where all the growth comes from.
So true.
Like, right?
So true.
And you know that from your own life experiences. When you are uncomfortable is when you grow the most. And like we all know, like diamonds are made from being under pressure.
Literally.
So you have to know that like your soul is the diamond in the rough, and it is trying to wake up, and it is trying to signal to you like, hello. And if you're listening to this, it's not by accident. Your soul is listening to this for a reason, and there's something that you need to tap into on a deeper level. But I think what I want everyone to know is you are meant to have a beautiful, expansive life, but you have to choose it.
Amen.
The Bible also says that many are called, but few are chosen. And I had an epiphany like a few weeks ago, maybe it was like a month ago. I was standing in my kitchen, and all of a sudden I just got this download, and it was like, you have to choose yourself though. That's how the chosen are the chosen. It's God calls us all. We're all extensions of God, of source energy, of universe, whatever resonates with you. But the problem is that 99% of people don't actually choose their self. They don't choose their soul mission. They don't choose to awaken to who they truly are, to become who they're meant to be.
Wait, why do you think they don't choose themselves? What stops them?
Fear is like the number one. Fear of what people will think. Like for me personally, my parents, and like we just recently talked about this, but like me and my parents, but I was really afraid to start talking about these things and opening up because I was so scared. I was even afraid to cuss, but like I don't like curse like a sailor, but I definitely use curse words as language, and it makes me feel good. And that's what I do. If you don't want to cuss, like don't cuss. But for me, I like to say that, like it makes me feel better.
When it's appropriate.
Of course. Like when it's appropriate. But fear is what holds 99% of people back. But I have just always like, I don't know. I just always knew I was different. And I always like went into the fear because it's the only way to fucking break out. If you're not willing to sit in a fire and go and like do things that you're afraid of or face the dark parts of yourself, you are not going to unlock the limitless potential that you are, or even start unlocking it. So people are bound in chains of fear, what their family will think, what their friends will think, what their ex will think. That was a big one for me, is like what my exes would think. Also, I think people are afraid to change and be different. Like I wasn't always a light. I was actually cloaked in darkness. And then I was like, well, if I do start to change, like people are going to like comment and be like, that's not her. And like, that's not really who she is. And she used to do this. And like, that's why I talk so openly about how I used to do cocaine. And I had that like addiction in my life because I never wanted someone to be like, oh, she was that. Like, yes, I was, but I overcame that addiction. I overcame that shadow side. And I realized that it was just me hiding who I really am.
Right.
And like numbing out because I wasn't who I was truly meant to be.
So now that you're who you need to be and who you're meant to be and who you want to be, what message do you want everybody to walk away with?
Be the chosen one. Choose yourself. Your world revolves around you. We are taught not that. We're taught to give of ourselves and like people please and make sure everyone is comfortable with you and dim your light and be palatable and don't shine too much and don't be too out there because it's going to make other people uncomfortable. But the truth is that that's all a lie. And the longer that you live in that lie, the longer that you are bound by shackles that you place on yourself. Because when you start to break free, you heal everyone around you and you start to give other people the confidence to be like, well, if she can do it, I can do it. And I think that is what I want you to know is like, be the chosen one. But to be the chosen one, you're already called. That's what you also have to understand. You're already called. You just have to choose yourself in this lifetime and go on your own journey and be different. What everyone else is doing, do the opposite.
All right. So you have built your professional brand. You're a coach. You're inspiring people. You create. While staying true to yourself, what has been the key to create a life that makes you feel authentic and aligned?
Find happiness from within. Realizing that every moment there's a chance to create happiness. Focus on the things that make you feel good and stop doing things that don't make you feel good. Stop hanging out with people you don't want to hang out with. Stop saying yes when you don't want to go and you're tired and you just want to sit at your house and drink tea and journal or whatever. Stop fitting into spaces that you don't fit anymore. Like, realize that you're growing, and what got you to where you are is not going to get you to where you are meant to be. So you have to be willing to let go of all the things that don't serve you, careers, relationships, mindset.
So that's funny that you say that, because what made you shift your mindset to change the game for you?
Because I wasn't happy.
Okay.
And I knew what happiness was because I had been happy. And I'm thankful that I had created happiness like in my young 20s. And I wasn't like, I wasn't who I was meant to be, but like going down selling real estate when I was 22 and like going down that path was where I was supposed to be. It was what I was supposed to do. I had a lot of lessons that I had to learn. And so I knew that when I moved to Florida, and I thought, oh, I'm moving to Florida, my life's good, but I had done that and I still wasn't happy.
Right.
I knew that I could get back to it because I had felt it before. And so I started to research and learn and listen to podcasts, listen to books, watch different, there's this platform called Gaia, which is like some of the stuff on there is like not that good, but some of the stuff is like really eye-opening.
Sure.
And I just dove deep into personal development, spirituality, learning about mindset. The first personal development book I ever read was Mel Robbins' High Five Habits.
Same.
And from me?
From you.
And I was so like angry at myself that I'd never read personal development. I was just always told to like read the Bible and read books on like Bible scriptures, and those are amazing, but there was no like there's a lot of leadership books. My mom had read like personal development, but it just was like, I don't know, it was just meant to be blocked from me until I was ready.
Sure.
And so when I read the book, it was like my mind blew open. And I was like, what the fuck have I been missing my entire life?
Yeah.
And so that was when I learned like there's something wrong with my mind. And then I learned that you can actually reprogram your mind by thinking about the thoughts you're thinking and changing them if you don't like them and they're negative. And that was when I became obsessed with mindset. And I was like, I will reprogram myself and I will become who I'm meant to be. And that's
Where
what
we
it
are.
is.
What does living in your feminine energy look like for you now versus before?
So
Big one.
I was a man.
Let's not say it like
No, I'm going to explain it.
that.
I was, first of all, I had no knowledge of masculine, feminine energy. I had no understanding of that. And there was a point in my life, I'm going to briefly explain this because this is going to be like a whole nother podcast. But in my young 20s, I had gotten heartbroken and I'd shoved it down and moved on. But I didn't realize that by shoving it down, it made me not trust people. It made me be like, fine, I'm going to do it myself. And so I like put this masculine armor on and I just like went. And then when my life blew up and I started on my journey and learning about spirituality and learning about the yin yang, which is masculine, feminine, and that you have to balance the both and you're meant to have both. I just started understanding like, oh my God, like I'm just a man. Like I don't have this like feminine understanding of who I am. And so when I started to learn about feminine energy, that it's soft and it's flowing and it's calm and it's powerful and it is like a force of nature that is so insane, I started to really learn about masculine and feminine and how the feminine energy is the creator, it's the creative energy, it is the building, and it takes 9 months to grow a baby, so it takes time to grow something beautiful that you are meant to grow in this world. But when it's time, you birth it into the world and then you receive what you're meant to receive. And that is kind of like a quick explanation of like what it means to me. But I learned that I was just being a man and I didn't understand what it meant to be a woman and to trust life, to trust the world, to trust who I am, to trust God, to trust that life is for you. It's not against you. And that there are times in life where as a woman, we are meant to sit back and relax and not be filled with anxiety, especially as a single woman who I've been doing it like by myself my whole life. You know, I've had obviously help and clients and certain things here and there, but basically like it's all been me. The pressure's all been on me. And now I've learned like I can't control anything anymore. I don't want to control things because when I controlled them, you can only control things for so long until you can't. And I just really had to understand that I needed to relax and be open to help, to receive help, to know that I'm not all alone in this and that we all have a purpose and a part to play in life. But the balancing of the masculine and feminine energy was like where so much healing came to me, because also I learned like I don't have to be white knuckling it. That's actually like not what I'm supposed to do as a woman.
Right.
So
what advice would you give some of your listeners if they're going to feel stuck?
If you're feeling stuck, you need to start to take time for yourself where you put away your phone and you really get with yourself. You really learn that if you can't sit with yourself, you are going to have a long journey ahead of you, because you came into this world alone. You're going to leave this world alone, and you need to be happy and safe inside of your own vessel, inside of your own body, your temple. That is the highest form of creation on this planet. Our bodies are literally insane. And start cultivating safety within you. And you have to start journaling, quieting your mind, and really tapping into your higher self and asking, like, is being with this person good for me? And then when you get the answer, do it. Don't make excuses. I know it hurts. I know it sucks. I know you don't want to be alone, but you've got to do it. Asking yourself, is this career aligned with what I'm actually supposed to be doing on this planet? And if it's a yes, great. Keep learning, keep growing, keep reading. If it's a no, you've got to get serious about then who am I? And go on the journey of following the nuggets of what makes you happy. Because when you follow the little things, rollerblading, working out, swimming in a pool, going on a hike, hanging out with your best friend, not drinking anymore, and trying to do different things to cultivate new habits and hobbies, when you start to focus on things that actually make you feel good and feel happy, new doors will open up. You will start thinking different. You'll start seeing life in a different way because you are focusing differently now. So if you're feeling stuck, safety, you got to create safety in your body. You have to be okay, like knowing that no matter where you're at, you're exactly where you're meant to be, and following the nuggets of the things that make you happy and fulfilled.
Amen. So looking back on these last 3 years, what are the top 3 lessons you've learned?
Everything that you need is inside of you. You have to start to build confidence in yourself and trust yourself that no matter where you're at, you're going to get through it. That's number one. Number two is that the world is conspiring in your favor. Whether you are spiraling in negativity, the universe is conspiring in your favor to give you that. Whether it's positivity, the universe is conspiring to give you that. The thing about something you have to learn about Earth is we have free will here. So people are like, well, why do bad things happen? And why is there war? And why is there all this? Well, God gave us free will and can't infringe on our free will. We have to ask for it. You have to ask your guides and God to intervene in your life and to help you. And again, that's feminine energy. For so long, I was angry at God. I was angry at my life. I was so mad that everyone destroyed me and I had no power and control. And what I learned, though, was that it was me. I was the one not asking for help. I was the one that, didn't ask God and didn't open my heart to God and didn't ask for help. And it literally wasn't until probably 6 months ago that I was like, okay, God, I understand now. I need guidance and help and I want it. And that was that feminine energy side that I had been blocking off, help from anyone. I just was like, no, I got it. I can do it. Mm-hmm. And I think that the second thing is that it's okay to ask for help and just know that you're exactly where you're meant to be and everything is going to be okay. The third lesson is to stay single until you understand who you are, what you're here to do, and you really understand that no one is in control of your happiness. That is where you will actually be able to attract the right person to you because you will have already cultivated happiness from within. And now anyone outside of you is just going to be like a cherry on top, but it is not going to be the center of your world, the actual ice cream in the cone. You are the ice cream in the cone, not someone else. No one can create happiness for you. No one is going to give you happiness. You have to be willing to face every part of yourself so that you can integrate it all and learn I'm whole, I'm happy, I'm healed, I'm who I'm meant to be. And anyone that comes into your life is just a blessing and excitement and more happiness, but they are not the reason for your happiness.
Yeah. That was a great analogy, actually.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what message would you give your younger self before you moved?
Hold on. Hold on. When you decide to go on your soul journey, everything has to change because you are literally going from this 3D matrix to a soul aligned, in alignment with God and the universe and what you're meant to do. But there is a crumbling that has to happen to get there. And I've actually had 2 of those. And I'm I don't know if I'm having another one, but I'm manifesting just positivity and growth and focusing on everything I want instead of everything that could go wrong.
Right.
But what was the question?
What's the message you'd give to your younger self before you moved?
Yeah. No matter what happens, keep going and hold on and just know that life is for you. Life is meant to be so good. And there is a time where you're going to have to face all that shadow of the 3D and all of the darkness, programming that we've been so deeply programmed to fear, lack, negativity, judging others, judging ourselves. There's when you decide to flip the script, things get so chaotic and weird, but regulating your nervous system and feeling aligned and understanding that you have to go from where you were to go to where you're meant to be is there is the crumbling that happens, but it's only to create space for everything that's meant to come in.
There we go.
And it's a normal part of your
Mhm.
spiritual process. And it is the only way to transmute dark into light, is to go through the darkness, to eat the darkness and shine a light on it and just say, like, I am not you. And so I think that's what I would say, is just hold on. Like, everything's going to be okay. It's going to get a little eerie
Mhm.
and creepy, but focus on what makes you happy.
Yep.
And keep going. And God is your source. The divine is not going to fail, especially when you ask and you open yourself.
Okay.
God's got you.
Love that. All right, Whit. What's next in Whitney's world?
I
What's
don't know.
not next?
I know. I don't
Like-
really
like
know.
what?
Honestly, I am growing so much, and just I want to be traveling, speaking, creating more courses,
Yeah.
memberships, having more people on the podcast, giving people like the opportunity to share their stories and just like have more fun. I really want my life to be fun. I want people to see, like, when you focus on something new, it happens. And it's not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. And I look forward to just growing and setting intentions, like from what I talked about last week, and focusing on my numbers, my goals, and growing myself even to new extents of spirituality, money, friendships, relationships, love, everything.
Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing so much. I'm over here in chills. That was so powerful, and I just love the message.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're the best.
Thanks.
Well, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. If you went to high school with us, we need you guys to drop a comment below. Let us know that you watched this video. Don't forget to get the GLOW code. The link is below. This is going to be the 8-module program. Everything that I did to transform my life spiritually, mentally, and physically to become who I'm meant to be, so that you can glow up from the inside out and manifest your dream life. So don't forget to get that. Also, Kristen, how can they find you?
You can find me on my Instagram, hair by Kristen 333. Like Whitney said before, I specialize in extensions and blondes. I would love for you to sit in my chair and make you feel beautiful.
She also does not only do blondes, so she does all haircut.
I
all
do.
hair.
I do.
She's about to do some. Tell them about the tips you're gonna do.
Oh my God.
She met a black guy, and he's like, I want to do. He has dreads, and he wants to do tips at the bottom.
Yeah, he wants it to match his gray beard.
So be on the lookout for that on her profile,
It's
because
going to be a fun one.
I can't wait.
That's for
to see
sure.
it. I literally can't wait. So yeah, and is that it? Is there anything you want to share?
No, I don't think so.
What's the biggest transformation you've seen in my journey?
In your journey? Ooh. Whitney is a beautiful soul. And I think now that she's tapped into that energy, she can share that with other people and show the other people in her life that I can help you see yourself inside of you.
Mm.
And it's crazy how many people that she just touches in their lives, like just walking into the grocery store. She's like, oh, hey, we have matching eyeshadow. Oh my gosh. Like,
We're twins.
we're twins. Like, it's crazy. And they just connect, like, just like that. Like, we were literally at the pool today. She was talking about that. And she's over here talking to the UPS guy. And he's like, my day was better yesterday. And she's like, why? Like, she just touches people differently now. And, like, just watching her grow to being this confident, like, she's always been independent, but, like, just confident and, like, thriving human being is amazing. And I'm just so thankful to call her my best friend, honestly.
Aw, I love you.
I love you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's cool that you've really actually seen me through every step, every
Literally.
breakup, every relationship, every move,
Yeah.
every career. Like, you've seen me through all of it.
Yeah.
And I think that besides my family, you're actually the only one.
Yeah.
And I think that's really special and just shows you too that you don't need a lot of friends.
Well, and what's even crazier too is it's not like we've been super tight, like from since we were 14 to she's almost 32. In a couple months, just so you guys know.
I'm celebrating my 30th again, by the way, guys. I'm only celebrating 30 from here on out.
Like, we haven't always been super, super tight, which I think, like, just shows you when you actually do have a soul's connection to somebody that you don't have to talk every single day. You don't have to talk to them in every single season. But the people that are meant to be in your life are in your life for a reason. And they'll come around when it's necessary or when, yeah, I guess when it's necessary. But also don't write off relationships either with the people that you really, truly do want to connect with. And like, yes, like, yeah, you're going to get mad at somebody and whatever it is, like, they'll come back. If it's meant to be.
Yeah, take your time and come back.
Yeah, they'll come back.
Yeah.
Which, like, we've never really, like, fought, but we also went through times where we didn't really, like, talk a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when I was a new mom. I was, like, a shell of a person compared to what I am now.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Leave us a comment. Let us know what your favorite part of the episode is. And as always, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go!